Ok, bienvenue à tous pour cette nouvelle série de cours pour Guitare Extrême. Donc aujourd'hui nous avons un cours extrêmement spécial puisque nous avons l'un des plus grands guitaristes de la Terre, un guitariste qui a enregistré un nombre absolument incalculable d'albums en tant que sessionman, qui a fait 12 albums avec Toto, qui a fait plusieurs albums solo et qui sort là un tout nouvel album solo qui est là pour ce nouvel album. Et je suis un petit peu nerveux et je suis extrêmement honoré. First of all, could you just tell us when you begin to play guitar? What was your age? Was you a self-learner or have you got a teacher? How did you start?
No, I started because of the Beatles. I mean, I saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show, and that changed my life. I got a copy of Meet the Beatles and a really shitty acoustic guitar, which I still have. My parents made into a lamp for me when I was 21. But it was my first guitar when I was 7. Yeah, but I was just 17, You know what I mean? That's where it was all that for me. George Harrison was my first guitar hero, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you taken some lesson, or have you always learned by yourself, by just listening to some records?
Well, at first, yeah, it was all about that. But, it was weird because I was struggling at first to try to make this thing. You have to understand, this 1964. Yes. Not everybody on the block had a guitar. Yes. The Beatles were brand new. Guitar music, electric guitar music was pretty new. Yes. So everybody wanted it. This was like something that we'd never seen before. It touched, it touched the world. Yes, of course. You know what I mean? And for me, I was struggling just to play the chords. And then one day, as weird as this sounds, I was sitting on the front porch of my parents' house. All of a sudden, it all just made sense to me, you know what I mean? I didn't have that, and I didn't have any little delay.
Could you just show us a lick for something for a beginner? Something with
for a beginner?
Yes, something it's important for you to give to a beginner, to something.
From the standpoint of a solo, beginning things, that's your basic blues scale. But if you want to introduce something new, you can maybe, arpeggios. It's good to know, like, or that's over A minor, so D. It's really important to know your chords. I mean, I would say just get to know if that's A minor or you do this, and then you find these really, that's if you know your inversions of the chord, inversions being, if you know this stuff, then that opens up your mind to get out of this box thing. Those are the box sort of positions. If you know, it's like fixing a hole, right? I'm fixing a hole. That's the but if you know all these, you can play off. That's G. You get tricky. Vibrato is something that you can enter into. Vibrato is your own voice. Some people have a fast one, and some people have a slow one. It's really about getting to know your instrument. Now, that may not be beginner stuff, but if you were to slow it all down, it's really all based upon then D, so if you know all your chords, that's the thing.
How do you see all that for the neck? It's just your ears and your finger? Or?
Oh, that's what I said. I'm going to get back. I got to give Larry credit for this. Because most people think linear, like, you know. Yeah. Right? But if you're, but when you're playing, like say, oh, I want to play a G major 7. Right that. Really, if you play a D,
yes,
you have that. That's just a D with a G in the bass.
Yes.
And if you go down with a different, you try different bass notes, you know, you can get a lot of different.
Yes, of course.
You know, and like D with a G. There's your G, and there's your D triad. And then there's a C with an F sharp. Larry's song?
Yes. Yes.
So if you know these things, it's going to open up a whole shitload of new ideas for you. Rather than just, I mean, it's great to know the blues. We all got...
Yes.
Your blues playing will really improve if you know that's just 1, 5, 10. The 10 is the third. So it's good to know your notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Intervals.
You know, 8 being 1 again, you know. So if you know that's a minor third, major third, and if you go, okay, what's the second of that chord? That'd be the B. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's second. 1, 2. So you move one finger and it.
Could you show us the way you use the whammy bar? Because I know you're a fan of Jeff Beck.
Of course. Who isn't?
I think
he's a great guitar player. Interesting cat, but.
I think you've got your way to do it. And could you just show it?
Well, I mean, I purposely made this tailpiece with a flat, real soft flat top. Now, if you have a Floyd with a fine tuner on there, you're going to have a problem. If you have a stock Strat, like Jeff uses, it's a very expressive thing because you can be very subtle with it. I mean, everybody knows that, you know. I use this more like a slide. All this.
Could you just tell us the amp you use on stage?
Bogner Ecstasy, stock, just like the one you get. All the stuff I'm using now is all stock. There's no tricked out, customized anything. I found nothing wrong with that stuff if you're a gearhead. Now I I love collecting the gear, and I love all the old rack stuff. I love all the old Bradshaw stuff. I mean, that's all great stuff. It's apples and oranges. It's different. It depends on what you're in the mood for, you know. I just found that, like, as far as if being on the road, if something breaks, you can easily fix it. I'm not a guy that could take apart his own gear. Some guys do that, and it's all that stuff's perfect for them. For me, if something breaks, I want to pull it out and put a new one on, or throw it away, or just. I had to do the gig with just a little delay pedal and a tube screamer and plugged into the amp and a volume pedal, and I did the show, and it ended up being fine. Sometimes you become too dependent on the gear. There's no magic amp, there's no magic pedal, there's no magic guitar.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, some people look at the Edge and you look at Gilmore and you look at all these guys that have these massive amounts of gear, and they're fantastic at it. Yeah. But you know, bottom line is, if you played that stuff, you would still sound like you playing that stuff. I played Eddie Van Halen's guitar. I don't sound like Eddie Van Halen, you know, and vice versa. I mean, if he picks up my guitar, he sounds like him, you know, or any other famous guitar player you can think of. You know, there's no magic guitar that's going to make you play like Alan Holdsworth or something like that. You know what I mean? A great instrument and a great amp or something like that will enhance your sound. But you can't give somebody a 59 Les Paul and say, okay, now you're going to be great because you have the ultimate expensive guitar. You know, it's vintage and it's going to give you all that. You know, because you'll just sound like a beginner playing on an old guitar. We're going to do a little advanced blues here. You know, we all know our typical. Now, to get to that 4 chord. Instead of just going, you know, playing more blues, right? So, but instead of playing that, you don't have to play the chord. You can play right play, and then that gets you your 4 chord. So it's an E flat to the 3rd, right? It's a real trick lick, man. You'll impress your friends with this one. All right. See? Yeah. And while you're waiting. So you're just doing like a flat 5. Back to the then you just finding new ways to play. So we're back to this again. Turn around. You don't hear that one all the time. That's an advanced one. Instead of
yes. I have just last question. It's a special thing.
I hope you edit this, like, you know, then make it cool, because I'm noodling around a lot, you know what I mean? Pick the best bits. If I make a mistake, cut it out, please.
It's called the killing lick.
The killing lick.
So, could you just play a killing lick? That's what is a killing lick for you? It can be many notes or just 2 notes.
No, I got a great one. This is something you'll never hear a rock player do. Now, I kind of found this by accident. You know, it's that's the killer lick, right? See, so it's a flat. There's your flat 5 in the key of G, right? So that's your flat 5, right? So That's the end of it, right? So. Like if you're having some. Take it a little bit.
Donc pour conclure, donc déjà je vais remercier 1 milliard de fois. Thank you very much. Thousands, thank you.
No, merci beaucoup, my friends. Forgive a couple of glitches there. Perfection is really not what I am. I try my best. But, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. I mean, that's part of the learning process. Sometimes it's very cool.
Merci beaucoup.
All right.
Et à très bientôt. Voilà, j'espère que vous prendrez plaisir.
Oh, hey, Jimmy Lopez. Love. My man. Mon frère.
Donc, un petit coucou à Jim. Et donc, merci beaucoup. Et voilà. À bientôt. Thank you.